All right, share my screen. Okay.
Sandy, that is appreciated that you're doing the recording.
Yes, it's
Okay. You're welcome. All right, so starting with the pen tool.
Oh.
Have any of you used it before?
no.
No,
Okay.
I have a long time ago.
All right, let's just do some basics then. Let's see here. Oh, let me turn my cursor on so you can see a little easier. All right, so this is the pen tool over here. This guy looks like an old fountain pen nib. Okay, and with that, you can work in, if you're in layers or channels, there's also a tab called paths. Okay. And once you start laying down points, if you just click, it'll lay a point. If you click and drag, it'll give you handles, which makes it curve,
Oh, okay.
you know, and you can kind of go around, do whatever you want. You click and drag a little, you get a smaller curve paddles, but you can adjust them later. And then when you come up to your first point, you'll get a join. There's like a little dot next to the pen, and you click that point and it closes the loop. All right, so let me just zoom in a little bit here. So that's what it looks like. Now I like to use shortcuts, but basically you can go over here to use your pointer, and also there's some other tools. But if you stay on the pen tool and you hold down the command or control key on the PC, and it turns it into the pointer tool. And then if you click outside, this path is deselected. If you want to edit it, you need to click on it. So there you go. Now you've got all your paddles. So once you've made it, nothing's fixed in stone. You can take it and rearrange it, change the shape of the curve. You know, you could even, using the option or the Alt key, hit the middle here and get rid of the paddles altogether and make it a hard point. You can hit it again and then pull them out. And by the way, if you pull them out backwards, you'll get like a crossover like that. So to fix that, you just keep going around until it looks right. So you can pull it out as far as you think you need it, depending on the curvature you're going around. So if it's a nice gentle curve, you pull out further, and if it's tight curve, you just do it like that. The other thing now is if you just click, if you just put your mouse over anywhere on the path, you want to add a point, you'll see it, there's a little plus sign. You just click and there's another point. So say you wanted to make a little tighter radius turn like that, you can do that. So so practical use, I'm gonna take this whole thing and delete it. All right, and let's say we just want to do this area because maybe we want to do some color correction or what have you. So just click, and then I'm going to do a click and drag a little bit here, click and drag a little here, click and drag a little here. I've had a little practice. I must have done about 200 cellular phones from Motorola and their screens. So it required having to do a lot of pen tool paths. So I've gotten used to knowing what I need to add as far as points, but after you work with it for a while, it becomes pretty easy. All right, then we close it here. I can see now that this point's not right, so I'm going to hold down my, you see how if you have the whole thing selected, where all these are, geez, hang on a second, there we go. Where all these are red, if you go to move anything, it's going to move everything. So you don't want to do that. So I'm going to hit undo. You click outside again and then just click on one point, you see how they're all white now?
Yeah.
But when you want to work on it, it becomes red. So then you can adjust this. But I think I'm going to just move it up like that. Okay. Now there's a couple different things you can do with this. It becomes a working path if you're in the Paths tab. If you double click on it, it'll let you give it a name. Like, let's just call this LP for license plate. Now it has a name and it won't go away. If you don't do that and you start making another one, sometimes it'll delete it because it's just a working path. So it thinks it's a temporary thing that you only want once. So it's a good idea to double click it, name it, and save it so that it's there. And then if you don't want it, you can throw it in the trash can, just like a layer. Okay. So once you have that taken care of and it's finished to your satisfaction, if you hold your cursor over the little icon and hold down the command or the control key on a PC and click on it, you can make it into a selection. And then, you know, you'll be working just within that selection. So let's say we want a brush and let me just pick a color like green here, just so you get an idea of what we got. So see if I paint out here, nothing's happening, but if I paint here, it's just like any other mask. Okay. So the idea here is you want to outline this car doing the same thing I just did. So rather than going through that whole process with you guys, I made one, I called it outline. So that's this particular outline here. So you can do a couple things with this. You can go in your layer here and say add, well, let me just show you a couple things. You can, let me not add that mask yet. You can do as we did before, where if we go back in this paths and I put it over the icon and hold down the control key or command key on the Mac, it'll make it a mask, okay? And then when I go back to layers, if I want to add that layer mask, I do that and there you go. It's all done. So another way you could do this would be to just take your object selection tool up here, this little guy, which is, you know, in the same menu with the magic wand. Take that and just box out your subject and go up here and say select subject. All right. And it'll auto select what you've got here. And then if you go over to your path and come down here to this little tool, which is 1, 2, 3, fourth one over, and click on it, it'll actually make a path out of your selection. So that's another way to do it. But it's not as sparingly on the points. You see how many more points there are on this one compared to this one? Hang on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite a bit different. So it's got a lot of points. And then if there's bobbles and things in here like you've got already, you're going to either have to delete all those points or go in and adjust them all manually. But at least, you know, you're pretty far along. I don't know what your background looked like on this, Alan. So,
well, it was out in a parking lot. I was actually at my phone that I took this image with, and so
was it real busy?
So there was trees and grass and gravel and
yeah. So it was really busy. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this might have been hard to auto select as a subject. I don't know how well the algorithm does on that. So maybe just manually outlining it might be a better option. But I just wanted to show you guys that you have those two options to do.
Good.
Okay.
Excellent. Yeah.
That actually looks easier than drawing around.
Yeah, it is. You can actually draw too. I mean, if you got a tablet and you got a pretty steady hand, there is a pen tool I haven't used yet. It's called the Freeform, where basically you just go in there and you draw around it. But you see, I'm not doing real well with this. Let's just say we go over here and let it finish, and then I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how to connect it together once you freeformed it though.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I've not used that before, but when you mentioned it, I thought I'd give it a
Sure.
shot. But anyway, I think the tried and true way is basically don't get in and do them one at a time. Just kind of lay your points down. At kind of an aerial view. So basically, pick a place to start. Let me just get back to the pen tool here. Pick a place to start. Go to your next place. If you know that's going to be a little curve, drag it out a little. If it's going to be a bigger curve, drag it out more. If it's going to be a bigger curve, drag it out a little more. Just kind of go along.
Yeah.
And even though they may or may not be exactly where you want them, okay, I'm just going to finish off here. Again, then you get in there and you start refining it.
Right.
Uh-huh.
So you want to take this. And, see, I've got the whole thing again. So first thing to do is click outside, then go in and click on the one you want. And then once you've done that, you get started. Now I see here, I've got a little curve here. So I just want to add a point and I can move it up to make that curve, and do the same on the other side here. So I can then take this one and bring it down a bit, move it over. I got it right. And again, I can adjust these panels to make it tighter or not, change the way it curves and so on.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's the way I do it. Start out at 30,000 feet and get your overall view and then come in there and refine it.
Right.
And again, don't forget to save it, because if it's a working path, chances are it'll go away, especially if you save it and close it, it's gone. You save the image and close it and you don't name this, it's gone.
Okay.
And remember, it's under the tab called Paths.
Okay.
Okay?
Good one.
All right. So I hope that was
Yeah,
helpful.
That could have been handy.
Yeah, I'll bet. We're going to get to your images in a bit, but while I've got this up, I would probably blur this little gravelly area here,
Yeah.
just because it brings my eye into it, because everything else is kind of smooth and soft.
Okay.
So I would blur those. And then this little dark spot, I would just clone it out so it looks more like this
Okay.
bumper. Other than
What I
that,
did do on the right-hand side of the bumper reflection, I copied that and
Mhm.
reversed it and moved it over to the left-hand side
yep.
because it had grass over there. So
Yeah, good. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that worked out nicely.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, other than that and getting your outline, you're good to go on this one.
Good.
All right.
I've got it printed out. I've got it printed in metal. So
Oh yeah?
Oh,
it'll come out quite nice.
I bet. I'll bet.
that'd be nice.
All right. So let's move along here. I also wanted to show you guys something else today. Basically, let's see where I can put you guys. I can still see what I'm doing. All right. I guess I'm going to just make it a one. Whoever's talking. There we go. We've talked about, painting backgrounds and making them less busy and so on, especially with flowers. So this particular image, before I even started it, coming raw out of the box, out of the camera, looked like this. Okay. So aside from, beefing up the the colors and so forth, there were some things that bothered me. Obviously, this area back here, I didn't like. And I could have just painted it out, but I ended up just taking a gradient tool and coming over here. And let's see if I can see the points here. There's the point. Yeah. So you can see how this gradiates. And then also with a brush in the gradiate and holding down an option key, you can take away the mask where you don't want it. Like I didn't want the pedal to be dark. I just wanted the background to be dark. So you can see I've cleared all that out with a brush.
No.
So that makes things handy. And then I went over to this local brush tool and I did a couple things with that. I masked this area out with auto mask on. And by doing that, I was able to, again, mask around those pedals. And then on this one, I just wanted to bring this down a little bit because I thought it was a little too bright. And I wasn't too concerned about how the edges were, so I turned auto mask off on that one. So you've got the control to do that. And then this little switch down here lets you check what you've done. So that's what it looked like before I added this local tool adjustment, and that's after. And then I took it into Luminar and got to this point where all the colors were all bunched up. But just turn this off so you can see it. These leaves were a little too bright. So I just went back in again in Lightroom, but you guys can do the same thing with the Camera Raw. It's the same tools. And I just painted those areas and brought them down. Here's the areas that I masked off. So you can see that with the green mask. So if you miss something or you want to change something along the way, you can always do that. You can also see just a little bit of the top of this pedal was too bright. So I knocked that down a bit too. So let me just turn this off so you can see the before and after. So that's how it came back from Luminar. Okay.
Okay.
And this is what I did to adjust it. You can see down here was a little hot too. So these two pedals were a little hot. So I just took my flow down and just added a little mask there. So it would affect it a little bit, not as much as it did here and here.
So you're doing the flow down and that's in Luminar?
No, the flow is in Lightroom or in Photoshop, or it would be in your Camera Raw in Elements. So if I were to do this in Elements, let me just, or I don't have Elements, so I'll show you in Photoshop. I'll just turn this off and let's just open this in Photoshop so you can see how that works.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And let me just say edit original here. Okay. So now we're in Camera Raw, like it would be. In Elements, I believe you can set up your preferences. So if you open a TIFF, it'll do the same thing as it would as a raw file. So it brings up Camera Raw before you bring it into your program.
Okay, or if we just have it Camera Raw, so we can
Yeah.
bring, okay.
Yeah, but in Camera Raw, that little local brush is over here. You see it over here?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. So now if you grab that, you've got the size of the brush, the feather, and the flow. So the feather makes it softer, hard edge. The size actually makes the brush bigger or smaller. You can also use your mouse, your middle mouse tool to do that. But feathering, you can see the different, well, let me just shut this off for a second. It's kind of hard to see on here, but you know, you see the center area is a solid dark, and then there's a dash,
Mhm.
bigger circle. That's your edge from that center circle to the edge. So if I bring the feather way down, you see how they're almost together?
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's going to be harder. So let me just make a feather like that, and I'm going to take my brush down. I'm going to keep my flow pretty low, and I'm going to turn the mask on so you can see it. In this case, it's red. Okay, and if I keep painting, it'll add up. And then if I hold down the Alt key or the Option key, it'll erase it. So you can get it to where you want it. Maybe this is the other one I want to bring down. And again, just if I want just a whisper here, just maybe hit it once and here just once. Okay. So now I'm going to turn those off so you can see what's going on. And I'm going to use exposure just because it's easy to see, and I'm going to overdo it so you can see where it's affecting it. But I wouldn't be that drastic, obviously. I would probably just take the highlights down to start and maybe the whites a little bit, and maybe move this hue over a little bit
Okay.
and change the saturation and maybe take the exposure down just a little bit like that. So in that case, that's your before, that's your after. Use the / key to toggle between the two. And you can kind of see what's going on. You also have this little area down here. Yeah, this little button here does the same thing where you click on and off for your before and after. Let me turn my cursor back on. So this one right here, you can do the before and after as well. You can also do side by side and look that way if you prefer. So that way you can see a before and after, if that's easier for you. It just depends on what you want to do. So that's how you do it in Camera Raw. And if you already got it open in Photoshop, you can get the Camera Raw through the filter tab. So let's say we open this, and if you go under filters, you've got Camera Raw here as well. So if you already opened it and you're in Photoshop, you can do that. I don't know about Elements. Okay. So yeah, so there you go, and you start all over again. So if you want to do big gradation, and maybe we'll do this going this time. Now there you go. So you just drop it down a little bit like that. Maybe I don't like it being so dark here.
How do you get that angle again on the?
By the way you drag, and then you can grab a point and change it any way you want. And you can change the gradation. You want it real quick, or if you want it to just kind of go slowly, you can do that. And then again, there's a brush over here now, not the one up here, but the one here. That will let you take with an Option key. That'll let you get it off
Oh,
anything you've covered with it. See?
that's pretty cool. Move.
Yeah. Just be careful though, because if you go over, you can't reverse it. You can undo it and then start over again.
Right.
And get to a point. So I guess what you do is when you get to a critical area, let go and then press down again. So if you undo it, you're only undoing your last stroke instead of the whole thing. Just keep that in mind. Because if you go to add, it's going to put it down at 100%.
Ooh.
So It's not going to match the gradation, and unfortunately, it would be nice if you could just bring back what was there in the gradation, but it doesn't have that capability yet. Hopefully it will someday. Okay,
Good, very good.
all right. Yeah.
And good information.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's one deep program, isn't it? Photoshop. Holy man.
Yeah, they're all deep. And they keep adding more. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Okay, so I'll show you the rest of these later if we have time. Let me hide that for now, and I guess we'll get started here and see. Oh, Jim Bowman, did you come yet? No, but I don't see him. Maybe something happened. All right. I guess we'll start with you, Alan. We already saw the car. So let's go through the rest of yours.
Okay.
Nice.
Well, thank you. I'm told this is called a hoverfly. So just a little guy out in the back deck. I saw him flying around and managed to grab him. So
Are these the ones that bite you?
I'm sure they do.
Yeah. When I was down in the swamps areas, they were just relentless.
Yeah.
I remember those wings because I was surprised that they were patterned like that. They almost looked like a dragonfly wing.
It's amazing. All these insects have absolutely huge eyes. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's no wonder you can't fight them.
Yeah.
But you have to rely, if you're going to smash them, you have to rely on their instinctual reactions. Like if you're going to do a house fly, you want to come in from the sides like
Mhm.
this.
Mhm.
So if they're sitting on something, because they always jump straight up. So
Yeah.
if you're coming in above them, they're going to jump, but they're going to avoid your hand.
Yeah.
So
Anyway, I didn't try to do this. I got fairly close to this guy. This is a 105 macro line, so
yeah.
he didn't seem to bother me getting pretty close.
Guess not.
I think it was about an F11, so it wasn't. It was a fairly good aperture. Didn't get it all in focus, and of course you can't do one of these focus stacking on something like this because it just moves so quickly, right? So.
I don't know how patient he would be to let you do that.
Yeah, hold on, pose for me. Hold that pose.
Yeah, I'll wait till you get all your focus stacking done. That's
Yeah.
my way. All right.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Anyway, yeah,
Yeah. I maybe crop it a little tighter, just
a little bit tighter. Yeah.
yeah, keep it more interesting.
Oh yeah. Good.
It's amazing all the detail that you don't see.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Yeah, you've no idea of the detail in these insects. It's actually horrific how scary they look.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you know where they get the ideas for these horror films in the 50s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, this is it's just again, it's just a little flare out in the back deck, and I was in Topaz, and this is one of the artistic elements that they offer, and I just loved it the way it came out, and I just kept it the way it is. So there's nothing. It was an all right image, but I like the way Topaz changes it. It's just amazing.
Yeah, they did a really, really nice job.
Just I don't know. It's fantastic how it can interpret these
Mhm.
colors and movements.
Tones. Mhm, the tones are wonderful.
I just liked it the way it was. It was all thanks to Topaz.
Mhm. Normally from retouching days and fighting banding, the first thing I would do is try and go and fix those things. But here they lend themselves to the technique. So
Exactly what I was thinking, Sandy. In fact, I was going to put it through. I was going to put a blur on it, and then I'm thinking, you know what? That's fairly intentional here. So
yeah.
I thought I'd just leave it. Yeah.
Well, Well, I'm glad we're on the same page. I think they work out real well. Nice.
Makes sense.
Now, yeah, I suppose if you wanted to get selective and do anything, you could take out some of these random things they put in there so there aren't so many.
Right. Yeah.
But other than that, I wouldn't touch it.
I cropped it a little bit, but not
Uh-huh.
too much.
You know. Anybody else on this one? Okay.
Mm.
Again, this is just, again, it's all off the back deck here today. These are tiny little daisies. And I think when you see most flowers, people are taken kind of shooting down on them and stuff. And I like the profile of this.
Mhm.
And I did take it into topaz, and I did put a little blur on it, and then just sharpened up some of the yellow parts. Removed the blur from the yellow parts. But I like the profile of the shot where it was more of a head-on shot rather than looking down, just a side elevation shot.
Yeah, it's a little different point of view, more of a profile.
Just a simple little, easy to look at image, I guess. So
Is this with a zoomer or your macro?
that's that'd be the macro as well. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I like that lens. It's a nice lens.
Yeah, it really falls off quickly and gives a nice fade out in the background.
It's a 2.8, 105, 2.8.
Mhm.
Very nice.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Ah,
Fly
Oh,
bud.
wow.
This is the same flower probably that you saw, but it is the same flower, the little daisy.
Yeah.
And I don't know what kind of fly this is, just a fly, but I was quite amazed at the detail that are in these flies. There are all these hairs and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think this one, Alan, you caught him in the disguise setup here. He's trying to get into a beehive, so he's got a hot date with the drone, and
picking up pollen. Yeah.
yeah, he's picking up pollen.
He was stuffing his face with it.
Good
Yeah.
Maybe
shot.
he might be a wannabe. Who knows?
I want to
Wannabe.
be.
There
I
you
like
go.
that.
Oh, there you
Yeah.
go.
Oh, that was good. That was.
That
good.
was
I'm going to have to change the title of this now. That's a good one.
So wannabe.
Anyway, the iridescent colors and the hair, just amazing.
Yeah, with this iridescence is just something else.
Uh-huh.
They are.
Yeah. Too bad they're such a nuisance.
They are, that's for sure.
All right. Well,
Well, they do serve a purpose, right?
That's right.
yeah. Thanks for bringing those in.
Thank you.
All right, we'll skip Jim Bowman and go to Jim Murphy. Jim, I got 3. Is that all you sent?
I think I thought I sent 4, but that's okay.
All right. If there's one I missed and you want to upload it real quick
Okay.
while we're doing somebody else, I can come back to it.
Oh, I'll just go for next week. So I'm back to birds this week. I didn't do too much fine art, but I did birds this week. So this osprey, and I was sitting there. The hard lesson I've had to learn is when I'm doing this wildlife photography is just leave the camera turned on. I'm always wanting to save the battery, but I missed this osprey shot before, and then he dropped. I didn't even see him. He was in a tree and dropped out of the tree. And by the time I got it up to my eye, he was hitting the water, but my focus, it wouldn't acquire the focus right away. It was a bit of a ways away. It had been focused up close. So I did get 5 shots of him flying away with the fish, but I didn't get the shot in the water shot. So but I did get some of the, so it was.
So an awesome shot. Very nice.
Yeah, it's an amazing shot.
Yeah, that's a great shot.
Yeah, it is. Nice.
They're quite strong when you think about what Jim, would that be a couple of pound fish it probably has.
I know, I don't, I think probably less than a pound. You were gonna see a bigger fish shortly, but I'm not even sure what kind of fish that is.
Yeah. it's
Almost looks like a catfish.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, he's got a little salad to go with it.
Now, usually they just fly with one of their claws hooked into them, I think. I've seen with them too before.
You see some water droplets still trailing behind them.
Right.
Yeah.
That's,
It looks like
that's
there's
what's
some above
impressive.
him too. Yeah,
Good shot, man.
Yeah,
nice.
great shot.
And you did a little bit of painterly in there, and
You bet, yeah, so I
Yeah.
took it in topaz, and I did, sharpening and I darkened the background. In this particular instance, I was able to just take the green slider and I just worked with the green slider. I didn't have to do any masking. I just darkened the background with the green slider.
Mhm. Okay, so you used green with luminance rather than saturation or hue, and just
I probably used not hue, but I used saturation and luminance,
Mhm.
both, to get it darkened. So
Good.
I didn't want to change the hue, but I just wanted to
No.
kind of darken the background. Worked particularly well on the left side there. And also a lot of times with foliage, if I'm doing that, I use the yellow one as well too, because a lot of these greens have a lot of yellow in them.
Yep, you bet. You bet. And I assume most of you people are aware of this, but when you, let me see, I turn that off. When you come down to your hue saturation color area, either in Camera Raw or on Lightroom, it defaults to saturation because that's what it thinks you want to do and breaks down all these other, but you have luminance and hue as well. So if you just want to darken something selectively, like the purples here, you can just darken them
Mhm.
rather than, desaturating or oversaturating them. And of course you can change the hue too, if maybe you want to make it a little redder or a little bluer. All that stuff's available to you. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Let's look at this next guy here.
Yeah, it's just I got so darn many eagle pictures. I don't know why I keep taking them, but when they're just there right in front of you, it's hard not to take the shot.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
really. I wish I had more.
I see here. Yeah.
I'd be happy just to watch him.
Mhm.
well, there was two of them out on I was following out a minus tide, and there was two of them out working the mud flats.
Uh-huh.
And so if you go to the next one, this was a more interesting shot. So what this bird's trying to do is he's on a shark, and
Oh my word.
he's trying to fly away with the shark, but his eyes are bigger than his wings because he cannot get this thing off the ground. So he tried 3 times. He moved it about 2 feet, and then he gave up.
Look, they opened up a gash in that animal.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy, ever.
Well, there'd been some previously some seagulls had been eating on it,
Okay.
Okay.
and he chased the seagulls off, so as they were out of there. And but it was kind of interesting. I didn't know what he was doing at first. He looked like he was squashing grapes with his feet. He was going back, forth, but rocked back and forth, one left foot, right foot. He was working his claws into the shark, and then tried to take off with it, but just couldn't get off the ground.
Oh,
There's a shot on Facebook, I think from YouTube, of an osprey actually picking up a little baby shark and taking off with it. And
wow.
This is This is what you call a dogfish or
yeah.
squalus, but it's
But this shark was probably a good 18, 20 inches long. and he managed to get off with it. I was amazed.
Yeah, pretty powerful birds.
Yeah, this one's probably a little over 3 feet long. You can't really tell in the picture, but because it's
Yeah.
compressed with the
Yeah.
telephoto.
Yep, nice. I
Nice
really
picture.
like it, the way these are.
Gonna have to go down the river again tonight here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. Well, thanks for bringing those in.
All right, thanks.
Okay, Jane, let's see what you got here.
Now I have that one also, I think, with a vignette. Did you get the one with the vignette?
Yeah,
this morning?
this I kind of thought would be your after shot.
Yeah, I think I like this one better,
Mhm.
which is the vignette. It was interesting. We're in Boise and they're at record high temperatures. And these ducks, they were just having a cool day in the water. And so
Okay.
they were in all of this real high, just the flow right off the waterfall and just bouncing around and just having a good time, which you can't tell. There's no way for me to tell that story that I can think of. But anyway, I was just working with a different camera. I've gone to an RX10 IV simply because I can go further with it.
Mhm.
And so this, I had zoomed in. Okay.
Well, nice. Yeah, I was wondering why the water was so bubbly and frothy. I wasn't sure
Yeah.
rapids or what. but
They
the waterfall
they
makes
were
sense.
just having a wonderful time. They weren't fishing. They were just absolutely cooling off. And there were about 3 or 4 of them.
Oh, nice.
Great shot, Jay.
Yeah.
Real nice shot, and you brought it quite a ways from here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Jane. I like the better one.
Yeah,
Uh,
you've done more than just vignette this. I think you've done a little bit of color work and other stuff on there. Was this a
Sa-
Luminar?
Yeah, this is in Luminar. So what did you all say? I'm sorry, I missed that last. Did you like this latter one better? This?
Yes.
yes.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, without a doubt.
So I used that spot also on it where I could get the light intensity more on the duck
Mhm,
and did my vignette.
mhm. Nice. But it looks like you did some detail and some color and some other things as well. Which, yeah, really brought it up. Nice. Yeah, good. You're coming along. Okay, let's see this next one.
Now, again, I was working with luminance on this. What I don't know about on the drops of water, all at once I became aware of the spots, just the light spots. But when I did one and took them out, the light, I did not like the effect as much. So I don't know what to do or
Mhm.
just leave it.
Yeah.
I just leave it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, with a healing brush, you could selectively get in there and get through those pretty quick.
And I did. I took them totally out on another picture,
Um,
but then it impacted the way the drops looked.
Well, yeah, you got to be selective about it.
Yeah.
I
So I
mean,
think I could
like
probably
over
do
here,
it.
there's a lot of them. I would, anything where you got stuff that's looking like noise, I would probably get rid of it.
Uh-huh.
Maybe this part, but leave this in, and do that.
So some of them leave and then some of them
Yeah,
not. Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so you can, let's see here.
So some of those I think I erased.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah, actually in Luminar, you've got the erase tool, which basically does the same thing.
uh-huh.
Yeah. I'm getting a little sloppy here, but yeah,
Yeah.
you just kind of get rid of the ones that are meddlesome, and like these doubles, I don't think you need 2 of
Right.
these here, so
No.
just get rid of one of them. The same
But-
here, maybe you get rid of this little area here. And
But some of the drops, yes. Okay.
You know, and just be very
It's a
selective.
matter of
about
being more selective.
it. Exactly. Yeah, and just kind of bring it to your taste. You know,
Mhm.
like this one bothers me here. I just get rid of it or knock
Yeah.
it down a little bit. You know, and
I-
this one doesn't help.
And the one in between those two petals.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Just
So I think, mhm,
and so on. Okay.
yeah, and so on.
And so on and so on. Yeah, it's kind of like cleaning windows. I don't understand this white part here, though.
I was playing, that should not be there. I was working on different cropping.
Oh,
and
okay. Oh, and you've opened the crop too much and it
Yeah.
added. I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no big deal. Okay.
Now, this one, I worked with the shadows and the lights some in Luminar because
Mhm.
I just liked the flower. I thought it was lovely.
Mhm.
I did, I took out a couple of places with, I'm trying to think what it is in Elements again, where I just took out a little bit of the aging that was going on with the rose.
Like a healing brush or a clone brush.
Yeah, yeah. And other than that, I didn't do much.
Mhm. Nice.
So if I were doing, okay, Sandy, if I were doing the gradient, would you do the gradient over on that left side?
Over here
Below, yeah, would you
or
do?
down here? Yeah.
Right,
Yeah, you could. You got a number of different things you could do. Again, let's see. With that one, I would. Well, let's see if we can find a way to do that in Luminar. I don't know. I haven't tried that. I know there's a gradient mask, and I don't know. I guess we can play with that and see. That might be an option since you're using Luminar a lot. Okay, so move you guys over here. Go to edit, get rid of the templates. You know, there's another thing before we do that down in the professional area
mhm,
called super contrast. Now, if you go into super contrast, you see where these highlights are kind of blown out.
mhm.
You might be able to bring some of that back. Yeah. And then you play with the balance. If you go to the left, it's going to get real harsh. So if you go to the right, it'll get even a little flatter. You get it to a point where it's a little too flat, then you go back and take this back up a little bit and kind of adjust them back and forth till you get something you like.
Mhm.
And you got this little switch to turn it on and off. It seems to be only affecting those
It's real
areas.
subtle. Mhm.
Yeah, so you don't really need to mask it off, but there is a mask there if you wanted to.
What's that called, Sandy?
It's called super contrast. It's all the way down in the
Optics, I wondered, yeah, I didn't have that.
yeah. There's another one down there called color harmony, which introduces an overall warmth, which is kind of nice. And it's also got brilliance, which you don't find in many tools because it gets out of hand pretty quick.
Mhm.
See, you kind of get a painterly look going that way and almost taking some of the saturation down, but it does more. It's a little different the way it reacts with the image than saturation does. But if you go the other way, it gets in there pretty quick where it saturates too much. So I'd use it sparingly. And on any of these, if you double click on them, they'll go back to zero. The other thing you can do, generally there's a little arrow up here that you can hit to reset, but for some reason they don't have it on this tool.
Now, what did you say you did on, you double clicked to get it to go back?
Yeah, so say I moved it way over here. If you just double click on the handle, it'll go back. I think you can double click on the name too. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, if you double click on the name, it'll also do it.
Okay,
Yeah. So
because there are some of those that they don't really
yeah,
quite
they don't
tell you
have,
how.
have a reset, so you can do that.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see here. If we wanted to Let me go back here to fit. If we wanted to try that gradation, I guess maybe we can mimic it with, no, light's not gonna work. What we're gonna have to do is go here to this local masking tool.
Okay,
And on that one, you hit add, and we'd add basic, which is just your basic lighting again. But for some reason on this basic, they give you a mask. On the one that's in essentials editing tools, they don't. But at any rate, that's neither here nor there. So you've got these choices, paint, radial, or gradient. So here's your gradient mask. And let's just try and see how that works. So yeah, I think you drag it out the same way. Okay. So maybe like that. And I believe where it's red, it's going to be affected. So now if we just test that, we can say, yeah. So the redder it is, the more it's going to affect it. So yeah, you could do the same thing here if you want, if you didn't want to go into, you know, and if you want to adjust it again, yeah, you can grab it here and just take it down and move it around. So maybe you just wanted to come across the whole side here like that. I think that was more what you were after.
mhm, mhm.
And then, you know, you got your highlights you can take down, and shadows. You can take your structure down, that'll make it more out of focus. You see that? Or if you take it up, it'll go sharper. See how sharp it is now? And we go that way, it's real soft.
Mhm,
But you could soften it down too if you want to get that kind of depth of field focus drop off. You can just take the structure down. You know, so that's something you can play with too. And I believe once you have that, you can change the paint and go to erase. And yeah, you can get it off your flower here. Yeah, there you go. So now it's only working in the background.
Okay, on the erase, okay.
Mhm. Do the gradient, do your adjustments, and then get them where you like them. And if there's any spillover where you don't want it, just use the erase.
Mhm,
Okay,
okay, mhm.
hope that helps. All right. Little dragonfly.
I guess we must have been into insects this weekend. Again, and I used Luminar largely
Mhm.
for, I go to Elements first and take care of major kinds of things. And then I come over for the Luminar, I think more for fine tuning.
Exactly.
And I could come over and work on his wings here
Mhm.
and bring out the wonderful webbing in those wings. I didn't like his the rear. I had apparently that was too light and too much highlight, and I never was able to get it toned down till it was quite the way I wanted, because there's such beautiful coloration in there.
Mhm. Well, again, it's just selectively masking areas and using the tools. So if you wanted more detail in these wings, you would just mask the wings and go into the detail and structure tools.
Yes, yes.
And if you wanted to bring this down a little bit, you could just, you know, kind of mask that and use, no, I can't remember the name of it. Hang on a second here. I'll just open this up real quick. Would be the accent. Well, accent's going to make it lighter. I guess. So if you wanted to do these wings, you'd get yourself structure, you know, and just watch the wings and see what it's doing. Forget about the rest, but you see it's really edging out the background, so you don't want it there. You just want it on the wings. So if you go up here to this mask tool, which is this guy in the middle here, click on that, and use paintbrush. And just come in here and paint the area you want. You know, maybe you want a little detail in here too. What the heck? Let's see. All right. Spill a little. Just hold the Option key down, and see how it changes to erase. You can just use the Option or the Alt key to do that. Or you can just go click the erase, but I like to just stay where I'm at and keep working. So I'll just use that Option tool or Option button to do that. So now that I have that, and then you see it keeps it open and keeps your amounts down as well. But if that's too much information for you, you can just click that mask again and it'll just go back to the basics of the tool. So now when you're clicking those, and I'm going to boost it way up so you get it kind of over exaggerated. And you click it on and off, you'll be able to see what it's doing. It's not doing a whole lot, but you see it's not affecting the background at all.
Mhm, mhm.
Now, the other thing you can do, say you want to do it again in the details,
Mhm.
but
Those
you
details.
still want to make the mask over again, do you? I mean, you did all that work making that mask. So you go over here and right next to here, there's these three little dots.
Uh-huh.
Click on that, it says copy. Okay. And then if you go over to details, and it's not showing it yet, but if you move something, it'll come up. There it is. Click on that, hit those three dots again and hit paste. Now you'll have your mask.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so see if I would add, it's already there. Yeah, so there you go. And again, if you don't like all that stuff, just click it off. Now you got your small details, your medium details, and your large details. There you go.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's working even better. All right.
Wonderful, wonderful.
So see what I'm turning it on and off. It's just affecting that area. It's not
Mhm.
changing up that background like it would if you didn't mask. So
That's great. Yeah.
So that's how
wonderful.
that works. Okay. So get rid of that. Okay, it's all yours. Okay, thanks for getting those in. Hope that was helpful.
Thank you. That was
Yeah.
good. Thank you.
Sandy, this is Wendell. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Hey,
hi, Wendell.
Wendell.
You're here.
Oh,
How you doing?
Okay.
Good, good. Quick question. We were going around with a pen tool before you got here in Photoshop. Is that available in Elements?
I don't know. I haven't used Elements for a while.
Okay.
I don't remember using
Yeah,
it.
I just thought if you knew offhand, because that might be worth the price of admission if you're doing a lot of stuff in Photoshop. I mean, but where you need hard edges, that you may want to just upgrade to Photoshop. Okay. Yeah, we're coming down. I started up at the top, so yeah, got a couple more to go before you get here. But glad you're on board. I don't know where Jim Bowman is. He hasn't seemed to show up yet. I'll hang on to his stuff. If he doesn't show up, we'll do it next week. Okay, you're up, Kim.
All right. A torch cactus blossom.
Hmm.
And I believe I was working with both my telephoto lens and my macro, but I think this was on my macro.
Yeah, it looks like a macro fall.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Didn't do a whole lot to this because I was going for the pistil stamen, whatever it is. Wanted everything else around it soft. Darkened the two corners up a little bit. AI clear in topaz and a little bit maybe on the detail adjustment, but the colors are pretty much, the lighting and everything, the colors are pretty much how they were.
Mhm.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I like it. You guys think you'd want to see maybe a little more subtle detail in these areas? Or you like the way it is? Start
I
like
like
that.
it the way it is.
What was that, Alan?
I quite like it the way it is.
Yeah, I agree too. Just kind of playing devil's advocate here.
Nothing wrong with that.
Okay. All righty. Yeah, I tend to agree. It really makes it stark and keeps everything else soft. Good. See what we got here next.
A saguaro blossom.
Ah,
I overexposed this in camera. So
Mhm.
I was up about 2 stops. And then,
I like that, Ken. That's very nice. I
thank
like
you. Yeah, I took it into Lightroom, adjusted the colors or the background a bit more. And then into Topaz just to bring out a little bit more of the
Bigger.
detail.
Yeah, nice. I like all the subtleties here.
I was pleased. I was standing on a rock and looking up pointing the camera up to get this picture. So I wasn't sure how they were going to turn out.
Yeah. I'm just wondering, you got a lot of extra background here. I'm
Okay.
thinking I'd come down quite a bit with this.
Okay.
Get right in your face with it.
Okay.
Like that.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Just then shows you the ends of the leaves a little bit more by doing that. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, because the white kind of blows your eyes out of it.
Uh-huh.
If you get rid of some of it, it helps out, makes the subtleties a little more apparent. All these little hairs here are wonderful too.
And this was with a telephoto lens. This was I wouldn't be able to handhold my macro. This was a telephoto zoomed out. I don't know at what, but
Nice. Yeah, I mean, if you brought it in and set it on a table or something and had a tripod, that's another story. But
yeah.
yeah, you get it where you can. Take it where you can get it, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, very nice.
Thanks.
Hey, little guy.
Oh,
And this guy's out at Canoa Ranch.
Oh, okay.
So this was a couple weeks ago. I got numerous pictures of him fishing. Unfortunately, those didn't turn out real well, but I was pleased with he's not bothered by people, so he actually was getting closer.
No, I think he's the same guy we talked about before. They used to live on the golf course here
Yeah,
before it was a park.
that wouldn't surprise me.
And yeah, once they filled that lake up, he was over there in a heartbeat. But yeah, he used to come here and clean all our fish out of it. We got a lake in the back. And then he went next door and really did a job over there. He took koi and some other things. So yeah, the neighbors did not like him one bit.
Yeah, we had one at SeaWorld, Sandy, that would come in and kill the koi.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah, and these were big koi too, so they were probably 5-8 pound koi.
Yeah.
And he couldn't eat them. He just, I guess, didn't like fish, so or didn't like koi.
Didn't like competition.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm kind of in between cropping a little of that right off or not, but I kind of like it.
Yeah.
I think maybe we just leave it alone.
Beautiful eye shot too.
yeah.
Thank you.
The retoucher me keeps getting a couple things. Just these out of place little lines that are just very easy to knock out.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a program for imperfections. I just see them without even knowing why. But my eyes always go to something that's just a little out of place. So just clean those out. And
Just clean those out.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're subtle, but they keep grabbing me. Okay.
And this is an experiment.
I like that.
It was not
You want to hide
planned.
back there? We're going to get you anyway.
I love it. I love
That's
it.
a hummingbird in an ice cube.
This is out at Santa Rita Lodge, and this black-chinned hummingbird is on the other side, is
Yeah.
behind the hummingbird feeder.
Yeah.
Hmm.
They tend to do that when they think they're hiding, like, you won't see me back here. They do that to me all the time when I'm sitting out here with my big lens.
And at first I wasn't sure about, well, do I want this? Because, you know, the wingtips aren't sharp, but then I thought, but the rest of it's not sharp anyway, so what difference does it make?
Mhm.
It just kind of adds to the abstract feeling of it.
Well, you can selectively sharpen this area a bit and let this go, or even make this blurrier, it's your option to kind of.
Yeah, I don't know. What would you think about removing those wingtips though?
Oh, really? I hadn't even thought about that.
Hmm.
You could, but I kind of like them, but I
Yeah.
knock them down, either blur
Yeah.
them.
I was just thinking then you've got the hummingbird captured in that ice cube. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
You work in Topaz, right?
I work in Topaz, yeah.
All right, so let's go to Topaz. Did it go there? Hello, wake up. There we go. Okay, so again, I program a look. Where is it? Somewhere. Let me hit all. Yeah, I just put precision, detail, and precision contrast up and saved it so that it's there. I've got
Sure.
it off so it's not doing anything. So I do apply, and then I just don't have to drag them down there.
Uh-huh.
Just saves you a couple of seconds, but it's no big deal. So basically, you got your micro, your low, your medium, and your high. That's your contrast. If you want to put your highlights down a little, sometimes that helps. This one, I don't think it matters, so leave it alone. Equalization, sometimes these give you different effects. These are pretty minimal. I think we'll leave it at medium. And then we'll come down to the detail and do the same thing. And I'll probably just do medium detail. It's probably enough. And that's the before and after.
Okay.
If you don't want it to spill out, same thing, you just add a mask. But on here, the nice thing about putting it in a folder is you only have to make one mask for everything.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so then you get your brush, and of course this one works backwards, so black erases, and so if I want to get out the background, I just go in there and take it off. Okay. So now to get back, just click on the folder. So now when I do before and after, you see the background hasn't changed at all. It's still
Mhm.
soft. I mean, you want to make it softer, and then you can go in and add a filter. Oh, I don't know, maybe a blur. And see how much we want. And maybe somebody, I'm just looking at the wings in the background,
Sure.
by the way. So, and if I don't want it on there again, I just go make the mask and get a brush, use black, and take it off the area I don't want it affecting. There you go.
Okay.
I think, this is just my personal opinion, but I think the wings on the bird itself are already captured in the glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the two wingtips sticking out are a distraction for me.
Well, and they're not, at least now that I'm looking at it again after a couple days, they don't quite match up with the wings in the glass.
No, they wouldn't, because you're actually getting a reduction, a reducing
Right.
effect in the glass.
Right.
And
What if you just made that black, a black background? And it would be really quite dramatic.
Yeah.
See, now I blurred them out so much you don't even know they're wings.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so that might work too.
Yeah. Yeah. I do like it better without the wings there.
Mhm.
because the whole bird is actually captured inside the
Mhm.
glass itself.
Yeah, that might be interesting. Just take a little.
Yeah, I really worked on the base of that thing because the doggone faux flowers, yellow and orange and everything were down in there. And I kept fiddling and I finally just kept cropping. Like, okay, everything else is not working, so let's just crop.
And that is not a shot you could duplicate very easily, probably.
Yeah. I'm just
I could probably go up there and wait 6 months and never get that shot.
Oh, yeah, he heard you were coming, so he's not going to hide back there anymore.
Very long.
Yeah, you know how that goes. Yeah, and maybe you just don't need that much background. Oops,
Oh, now the wings come back.
the wings came back. What was that all about? All right.
Okay, I will play
Yeah,
with it some more.
That's a really cool shot. I like that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for bringing those in.
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay, so Ron's not here. We'll go to Steve.
And mine's just all insanity this week. So
The usual.
Oh,
now these are 3 elements. I was just playing with macro settings this week. The linear elements are actually 8-pound monofilament,
Oh, wow.
which is about 1/100th of an inch in diameter. That was taken into Photoshop, and then some neural filters applied to each of the individual strands because they're on different layers, of course. They were rotated. I also used one of the strands to do the radial blur in the background. And then the grid that you see is the window screen.
Oh, wow.
Again, shot with macros. I'm just playing around. And then I added the lens flare to it. So
That was the lens flare that green, or did you have to correct it?
I adjusted the color on that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thinking I hadn't seen it that hue before. And it looks like you got a little bit of water on there.
Oh no, this was probably something on the monofilament.
Oh,
Probably
maybe a
Yeah.
or something. Yeah, it almost looks like a little droplet of water.
Yeah. I'm going to start practicing, I think, with not practicing, but trying some stuff out with the monofilament and some glycerin to see what kind of an effect I can get.
Oh, yeah, that could be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Mhm. And then you may want to have it overspray onto a background, then adjust the distance in the background from the monofilament to see what that is. Yeah, it'll give you a lot of variables. Fun.
So yeah, this is just totally abstract. The next few are, well, the other one coming up is too. So. And this is electric frog.
Yeah, switched to frog. Yeah.
A headless electric frog.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the foot of a metal sculpture hanging in my hallway. It's supposed to be a lizard, and I guess it probably is supposed to be a Gila monster, but doesn't really look like one. But I took this in pattern in Photoshop and scaled part of it down and then overlaid, and then took it into Topaz for I think this is contrasting cables, the effect that I pulled out
Oh,
of.
I thought you electrocuted them.
What's that, Sandy?
I thought you electrocuted them.
No. I just like the effect. So.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice. I like it. I like
Yeah.
it too.
Kind of spiky. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, nice.
So just playing around some more.
I thought I may be getting rid of this blue here. I don't know if it's buying you anything.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
I'll have to go back in and look at it to see where that's at and then just, yeah, mask it off, pull it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just flatten it and do one mask rather than having to go through all the layers.
Yeah.
Okay. Or actually, you could group
I
it
was
as
gonna-
a folder and then add a mask to the folder. Then you just do one mask.
I've got a question here for something like this. Do you ever, I've came across a couple of things where I've gotten to a point where some of these blue parts that you're talking about, I have no idea how to get rid of them. And what I've done is I've flattened the image and kind of more or less just started again. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, if you do flatten the image, do a save as so that you still have a layered image if you want to go back to it.
Okay.
You know, and name it something else. Like, you know, when I used to, the clients were, because you never knew what they wanted, and you'd always have to have the layers to go back and play around.
Yeah.
I save those as WK, whatever, being work files, and I always thought those were layered. And then the final files, I would do FI for final and underscore whatever the name was. And sometimes I'd even leave a layered final. It may have less layers, but just things I want to tweak a little bit. And then I'd give the client a flattened file. So I'd say that as just a final and name it something else.
Okay.
Yeah, that way you don't mix them up if you go to delete anything and you've always got your backup, you can go back a step. But again, if you just want to take all the layers and throw them into a folder, you can mask the folder and then it's the same as working on a flattened image.
Yeah.
Because if you mask the folder, it'll take care of anything that's in that folder, no matter how many layers are in there.
Okay.
All right. I think you can
Cool
even
photo.
put folders inside of folders now. So you can, I believe you can do that now, where you can really group things based on where they are.
Yeah.
It's always good to name them too, so you know what's what as you're going, especially after you get more than 3 or 4 of them in there. And easy to name, you just double click it and name it.
Yeah.
Then you know what it is. Okay.
Well, I like this one.
Wow.
Wow.
And this is a composite, of course.
Yeah.
Casa Grande ruins. The statue of the medicine man at the Tucson Museum of Art. And a luminar sky tossed in behind it. And an oil paint texture put on. So
Excellent. Excellent.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Real nice.
Yeah.
thank you. This is kind of the beginning of some ideas with this, but so I'm probably going to work on this a little bit more. You may see another iteration of this farther along.
Mhm.
So,
And did you use oil painting on the statue?
yes, I did.
Oh, okay.
That was like hammered metal. It's nice.
Where did you say that statue was?
That's down at the Tucson Museum of Art in the courtyard.
Oh, okay.
So if you're inside the building, you just walk out into one of the courtyards where they have, I think, 6 or 7 different statues out there. So,
Okay.
Nice. If you want to give
And-
a little, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, that's okay, Sandy, go ahead.
If you want to give us a little more depth, you can selectively just subtly blur this stuff back here.
Okay,
You know, maybe keep this one sharp and then blur this down just a little bit.
Right.
Even just the edge, you can even just take a blur brush across the edge of it. And so these are, you can selectively just mask that stuff and just put a little bit of a blur on it. If you make it a smart object, you can adjust it till you get it where you like it.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
and this is my crazy aunt from 18. I did pick up some photographs in an antique store a long time ago and scanned these in and was just playing around. So I figured I'd go ahead and pull this one in. And I think this is an effect out of Topaz too, and the vintage folder. And then a digital frame placed around it. So, but she's in the original photograph, she's really got a hard stare. I don't think she was a happy person getting her picture taken at that point in time. You know,
Those eyes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeez.
I'm thinking horror movie.
His pupils are starting to look vertical, almost like,
Yeah, actually, I think I probably did that because I think my mother looked like that at times.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, yeah,
Hmm.
I know, bad me, but
well, a couple flyaways here you can take care of, and then I
Sure.
can back this down for sure. Yeah, other than that, I think.
I was gonna say that I know these photographs are so old that nobody's gonna come after me for the copyright, so.
Yeah, right. It's
I-
my great Aunt Tilly. What are you
Yeah,
doing with her?
I can steal with impunity as long as you're, 100 years old.
So no, they might come and visit you at night.
That's,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Lord have mercy. Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, here's part 2.
yeah, part 2.
Oh,
And this again was done with, I think, one of the, I don't know if it was one of the vintage, but I think it was out of the vintage folder in Topaz. And this was just another scanned in photograph. Cropped a little bit and a bit of a vignette put on it, I think.
That works.
But the filter in Topaz actually blurred this out a little bit around
Yeah,
the edges too.
Yeah, it's got like a vignette blur.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
So again, just playing around with archival stuff, and eventually I'll get out and take fresh photographs. But
And again, any of these effects in Topaz, if they're in areas where you don't want them, like this head,
Yeah.
I'm saying I don't like it, but if I wanted to change this or even take it down a little bit, you can mask that back.
okay,
And you don't have to do it 100%. You can even just do it, like a little off of,
Yeah.
little off of white or black to get it back down. So you can tickle to your heart's content.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
sure.
All right, Wendell.
Okay. First 2 are scans of slides that I did many years ago. So in Photoshop, I tried to see if I could clean them up and improve them. And this was just done touch up in Photoshop, and then an oil paint in the stylized effects. And it's Medicine Bow Peak in Wyoming.
Yeah.
We went by many years ago, and I kind of like the mountain look. So,
That was a very nice effect.
yeah, the texture and the clarity didn't work up too well, so I kind of masked it again using the paint.
That's a nice image, Wendell.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that works out real nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw something on the news the other day where there was a huge flood with rocks and timber like this. I believe somewhere in Colorado. But
Oh.
this must have happened here too. At some point.
Yeah, yeah,
Pretty amazing. But water can move.
yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah, that's real pretty.
yeah. I think it's just alongside the road. We were driving down through, I like southern part of Wyoming.
Yeah. Oh, nice. And I like the way you selectively just used it in different areas.
Hmm.
Nice. Okay.
This one is Long's Peak, the east face above Chasm Lake. It's taken about timberline, about 11,000 feet or so. And the top of the Long's Peak is right up at the top there. And it was pretty contrasty coming off the slide. So I tried to tone that down and bring up a little more detail. Also in Photoshop, nothing too unusual. So that I just like the starkness, bare rock look.
Mhm.
That's quite a place.
Yeah.
Couldn't do a lot with that area to the left that's dark. I did brighten it up a little, but it wasn't a lot left coming
Yeah.
off the slide.
Yeah. And this,
Yeah, I tried to get that down, but it looked muddy if I did.
yeah, that gets to be the battle, whether it gets muddy or not.
Mm.
Were you here when I was talking about super contrast and luminar?
I saw some of that. Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know if that would help or not.
yeah.
Um, there's also a trick in Lightroom when if you do the local brush on that, and then
Mhm.
there's like a little color swatch you could add in there, and if anything, as it goes muddy, at least you could change the color a little more than saturate
Oh,
do.
yeah.
On here.
Bring up some blue maybe or something
Yeah.
a little.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Boy, I don't know what's happening here. Let me try a force quit here. It's not even showing up. That's odd. Let's try it again. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. Move it out of the way. Now let's see if we can find that picture. Was it this one?
Yeah, the second one.
There we go. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So it refuses to go away. Move this on top of it. There we go. Yeah, too high. There. Okay. I'm going to hit edit, go down to professional, which is where the super contrast is. And we'll ignore everywhere else and just kind of see what it does in that area. Yeah, although it's helping some of the other areas too. Now let's see what the balance does. Yeah, it looks like it's bringing a little something in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
Not too much. And again, you could, you can mask it in just where you want it. Just kind of bring it around this area here. Yeah, and if you want a little more in here, whatever, get pretty selective with it. So, yeah. So that's what it does. And I guess you could see if midtones do anything on it as well. No, not really. Shadows. It's funny, sometimes you take the shadow and then you kick this over, it brings them down more. Anyway, that might be an option for you.
Mhm.
And then All right, let's look at this next one.
Okay, I think you may have seen this before, a little different version.
Mhm.
I cleaned up some spots and cropped in a little tighter. And the closer I crop, the better I like it. So
Yeah.
anyway, just agaves. And this also was done in Photoshop. I did some previous work, either in Lightroom or Elements, to kind of get at this green look, but I just touched it up now. So not a lot to say about that one.
Mhm. Yeah, I like the shape. I like the texture from the grain.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah. And a
yeah,
couple spots, but no big deal. You can knock those out
Oh.
easy.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Nice. I like the crop too.
Yeah, yeah. I was thinking maybe I could take a print down to Los Agaves restaurant and trade it for some carne asada tacos.
There you go. Well, that format might work nice on a 13 by 19 printer at the club.
Yeah,
Get in there
yeah,
the day they're open.
yeah,
If they got the inks working right.
yeah,
So they've been sitting for a year or two.
yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. Well, let me know. That worked out.
We'll shoot for food, yeah.
That's right.
Okay, this is in a black and white field trip several years ago to the Designs in Copper down in Tubac. And this is Jackie, the wife of, well, co-owner, I guess. And she's working on one of the pieces. And it was also just a Photoshop, but all I did was select her and invert to blur the background
Mhm.
and left the copper piece she's working on sharp.
Mhm.
And then that was about it. I did put a slight blur on the face just to be a little more complimentary.
Mhm.
Anyway, like that, just
Yeah, that helps out.
work.
Yeah, she looks like she's fairly weathered.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I guess would have liked a little longer flame on the torch, but I
Yeah.
just
Well,
didn't catch.
you could
right.
stretch that out with a smear brush. That would work real well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it would taper it too. if
Yeah.
You just do a quick pull.
Yeah. Cut it back toward the nozzle itself, lighten that up like flame. Yeah. Hadn't thought of that.
Yeah. It's interesting. This is discoloration from the torch, right?
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
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 Very
It's
nice.
amazing. Neat to watch her work.
I'll
She's
bet.
doing that quite quickly.
Mhm. Wow. Very cool.
This is down in Lowell, I think is the name of the town outside Bisbee.
Oh, yeah.
It's an old station and a 54 Ford.
Mhm.
And this also in Photoshop. And I did use the oil paint filter and just kind of made postcards looking scene.
Yeah, you got that.
Yeah, I love the posters.
Yeah.
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 Let's get in on those a little bit. Yeah, that's fun.
Dr. Pepper, 5 cents.
Yeah.
5 cents. Wow. What a bargain.
Wow,
Yeah.
yes.
Very nice.
The old chest coolers that you drop nickel in and slid it
Right.
around until you got it in.
Pull that
Yeah.
lever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Open the door. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
So,
Nice.
okay, thank you.
I got
That's
something
all
similar
done.
you'll see tomorrow. I sent your class. It's that
Oh,
old
okay.
Wigwam Motel up in the north east part of Arizona. I can't remember the name of the little town when you come over
Oh.
from Mexico and old Route 66 up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to be late too. I got a call at 1:30, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, I'll see you probably about 2.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for bringing those in.
Yeah.
I got a couple things. I guess we'll show those
Oh,
in
yeah.
flowers. And
Oh, yeah.
here we go. These were all at the mansion down in Nashville, having a senior moment. What's the name of it?
Oh, the Biltmore.
Biltmore. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you, Wendell.
Yeah.
The opulent mansion. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, some of them are inside their greenhouse like this one.
Oh, yeah.
We were outside. What a wonderful collection they have there. And I took these through Lightroom and in Luminar and back into Lightroom as needed, depending. So.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Pretty
I
dramatic.
think it's a
Yeah.
slipper work. I'm not sure.
It looks like a lady slipper.
Lady slipper. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was pretty amazing. I dropped the background down quite a bit so it would be more pronounced.
I've never seen a lady slipper that color.
And me either. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And just all the
This a micro lens as well, Sandy? or-
No, this is I think with my 24 to 240.
Okay.
Okay.
You can pull really tight with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can focus pretty close too. You can get within a
Yeah.
couple feet
Mhm.
and then zoom in. So yeah, it worked out pretty nice. It's a pretty
Yeah.
versatile lens. It's a little hefty but with that and the R5 to look around, but it's worth it.
Pretty
Mhm.
sharp. It picked up the
Yeah.
hairs on those leaf
Oh,
edges
yeah.
really
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only place I got a little soft is up in the front here. Kind of
Yeah.
focused in about here. Yeah, I brought it up a bit in Luminar using the detail and structure.
Hmm.
The mass.
Did you put the white spot right in the middle? It almost looks like a light bulb.
No, it was a little bright. I think I played around with saturation and luminance on the
Oh, okay.
greens, and that's how that came up. But yeah, it kind of almost looks like it has a light inside there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. Then you get a lot of see-through here too. and
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. Let's see what this next one is. There we go. This was outside.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what these are called, but they almost look like, little pom-poms.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I don't know if Xenia, does that make any sense? I don't know.
I don't know.
I think it's in the onion family.
It's an allium.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazingly spherical, isn't it? Just
Mhm.
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. And I defocused the background a little more than it was and also desaturated and darkened it a bit. Just so it didn't compete so much, but I kind of like the warm and cool.
Yeah.
I did a slight vignette on it as well.
Mhm.
And I don't know what these are called.
These lupins, no?
Not sure, but little bee in there just pollinating. I did vignette a bit and use that lighten slightly in this area that Luminar has where you can lighten the center.
Hmm.
And I did it a little off center so that, this stayed dark. So instead of being here, it was more here.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it's same thing
Oh.
with this vignette.
Really nice.
Textures in these gardens were amazing.
Mhm.
That almost looks like it was painted,
Doesn't it?
Yes. uh-huh.
really does.
That touch of purple just
Yeah.
Mhm.
pulls it all out.
Yeah. Yeah, I was walking by and it was a pretty good section, like maybe 10 or 15 feet of this. And I finally, I'm looking around for a place to shoot, and all of a sudden this little patch of purple shows up. That's
Ah.
that's there's just a hint of it here and here and here.
Mhm.
Here was really prominent. And then I took the vignette again and accented it, so it worked out.
Nice.
Oh, thanks.
Nice texture, eh?
Mhm.
Yeah, this one I don't know.
Wow.
I think this is similar to that flower you brought in, Jane.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but maybe a rose.
What's
Yeah.
that?
It looks
Yeah,
like.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm taking it the rose gardens were in bloom when
Oh,
I
yeah.
went to the Biltmore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were there in I think early May.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry. We went there after my granddaughter's graduation, so it was late May. It was like the last week of May.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was on our way back. Yeah. I think that's the last one. Let's see here. Yeah. Okay.
Uh-uh.
So you stop this and then where's the recording? I'll stop the share.